Hi, good morning. It's Karen Williams from Librotas here, and I wanted to pop in and do a Facebook Live today because I've got some stuff I really want to share with you. Now, yesterday afternoon I was preparing for a conference that I'm doing in March, which is for the Alliance of Independent Authors, and I'm a partner member of ALLi, and they've asked me to talk about the topic. Let me look at my notes. Non-fiction book income streams, how to earn more than just royalties. Now, as you know, I am a non-fiction author and a non-fiction book mentor, so I work with business authors who want to write a book that enables them to build their authority and also to grow their business. So in many situations, or every situation actually, the authors I work with, they want to earn more than just royalties. Now, there's two really important things I want to share with you today. One is, your book isn't going to be an amazing income stream that's going to make you loads of money, unless you're a particularly well-known person. And secondly, if you try and price your book to match the investment you put into it in terms of time, money, energy, sanity, you're never going to recoup it. It's just impossible. You'll price yourself out of the market. And I do find with many clients, even if money is not their motivator, which I would say most people I work with, money is not the reason why they're writing their book. As I said, if it was, they probably wouldn't actually achieve the success they desire. But actually, when you want to reach more people with your book, you want to make a bigger difference, you want to make a bigger impact, actually you need to know how you're going to get your book out to more people. And that's why the marketing piece is so important. So building your community, getting your book out there to more people, all of that is incredibly important. So I'm going to share today just a few snippets from what I put together for the ALLi conference, because I thought the stuff was pretty good, to be honest. Some really great learning, and I thought you would find it useful as well. So, as I said, the topic was non-fiction book income streams, how to earn more than just royalties. And I drew very much from my experience of writing Becoming an Authority, which I published last year. And if you haven't read it yet, listened to it yet, it's available on audio. Because that book really goes through everything a business author needs to know to become an authority and actually to earn more than just royalties. So what am I going to share with you today? Well, I'm going to share with you probably three things that I talked about I'm talking about on the presentation, and that all starting with the end in mind, which is the first authority principle, and that's broken down into three areas: vision, alignment and leverage. So whenever I work with clients, one of the things I ask them is what is the vision for your book? What is the vision for your book? What do you want it to do for you, your business and your readers? So from a personal point of view, why are you writing your book? Is it about being cathartic, to get your story out into the world? Is it because you know you can make a difference, a bigger difference through a book than maybe your website or a tweet or something like that? And what is your vision for your business? What do you want it to do for your business once it's out there in the world? Do you want to get more speaking engagements? Do you want to get more clients off the back of it, launch a program? And what do you want your readers to do after reading it? And I always suggest people start with the end in mind before they put a word down on paper, because when you know that, you can measure your success. So let me take a few examples, or I'll take an example that I used yesterday, and that is Steve Judge. Now, I've got his book here. He is the author of Don't Lean on Your Excuses, which you probably can't see it, but I'm sure you can read it the other way around. And here's the example I used for vision. Because when Steve came to work with myself and the team a couple of years ago, he had a really clear vision for his book. One, he wanted to get speaking engagements off the back of it. Ultimately that is his business, and that's what he loves to do. It's what lights him up, what he really enjoys to do. So obviously getting speaking engagements was one of the key objectives for him. But he also found that whenever he was doing speaking engagements, he could only get across so much of his message in 45 minutes or half an hour or even an hour if he was on a longer speaking gig. And actually he wanted to get his whole message out there. So that was his motivation for himself, is to really, and it was quite cathartic on the journey. And one of the things that Steve found is that through writing the book, he started to really realise what he'd gone through, and also the benefits to him of having gone through it. He may not have thought of that at the time, but actually, the lowest of the lows, the highest of the highs, and everything in between as well. It really helps you to get to know yourself on a much bigger, much deeper level when you decide to write a book and you put your message out there. So that's kind of vision. Going back to sort of vision and sort of speaking engagements, he knew he had to have a call to action in the book to get more speaking engagements. If you want to get more speaking engagements from your book, talk about the speaking engagements you do already. Oh, I didn't realise you did that. That's a really great way of actually getting more work in that area, if that's what you want to do. So starting with the end in mind, I said, covers three things. It covers vision, and it covers alignment, and it covers leverage. So let me touch on alignment next. So alignment is really important because ultimately, if you're a business author and you're writing a business building book, it really makes sense for it to be aligned to your business, what you do already. So if it's your memoir, like Steve, it will be aligned to your business in terms of, your story, your journey, but ultimately keep your reader in the heart of your mind while you're writing it. So, you know how it's going to benefit them and not just about benefiting you. If you're writing a how-to guide or a self-help book, think about, what the journey that you take your author on, you take your reader on, and, what's the flow? What's the first thing? What's the second thing? What's the third thing? And nothing I like more than, getting to grips with someone's information in their head and helping them to turn it into a really well written book. And alignment is about being really aligned to your clients. What do they want to hear from you? And also, as I said earlier, what do you want them to do once they've read your book? And the example I used for the ALLi conference actually is Sally Kay. Now, I haven't got Sally's book here at the moment, and Sally is a reflexologist, and she teaches other reflexologists her methodology, so the Sally Kay method. And she her research was around working with lymphedema patients to help them to reduce the swelling in their arms as they were going through cancer. So that was the alignment of her book. She had done so much research and she wanted to get her message out to more people. And she also wanted to maintain the integrity of that message, the integrity of the research, so that people didn't kind of take half a message, try and do it. And she wanted everything in one book. And it was totally aligned to her business. If you check out her book on Amazon, you'll see it's totally on brand, it's full colour, illustrations in there. It's a really well written and also well published book, which is really incredibly important if you're using a book to build your brand. So alignment is key, and Sally accidentally had success. She thought less people would book onto her training courses once she got her book out there, but the opposite has happened, and she's having some amazing success with her book because it's totally on brand and totally aligned to her business. So what's the third thing to consider? Well, the third thing, as I think I touched on a second ago, is leverage. How do you leverage your book? Now, as I said earlier, money might not be your main motivator for writing a book, and that's okay. But actually, if you just put your book on Amazon and you do absolutely nothing with it, it's not going to achieve the success that you desire. So leverage is how, what can you do after you've published your book? So I use the example of Emma Heptonstall, How to Be a Lady Who Leaves, which is her book, her first book. And Emma's a brilliant example of someone who's really leveraged what she does. So she works with high net worth women who are thinking about going through divorce. So these women, she can only work with a certain number of people on a one-to-one basis. But as an ex-lawyer and a divorce coach, she knew she had so much information to share with people. So she decided to put her process, her information, everything she teaches and coaches and trains on into one place, which is her book. And when she launched her book, she's created an online membership program, which is getting, I think she's got 50 members when I spoke to her a couple of weeks ago. And they're members who are really learning so much from her. But it also enables her to, to monetize the book ultimately. But it's a win-win situation because she's got so much knowledge to share with people. She ran her first event a couple of weeks ago. She's got an online program. She got some amazing PR when she launched it 2.5 years ago as well. So all of that, helps her to raise her profile and build her credibility with people who are within her industry. And that's one thing she said to me when I spoke to her a couple of weeks ago, is that she's connecting, she's collaborating, and that is an amazing place to be when you're writing a book. So what else did I want to share with you today? Oh, I'll share with you a few other things that I touched on briefly. It was so hard to distill everything into a 30-40 minute presentation, and I can talk about this for hours. But I also talked about Kate Barrett, who she got sponsorship for her book. So that's obviously a really great way of sort of monetizing it and actually covering your costs before you've published, and then that develops a win-win relationship with those who are sponsoring it, and she, that's really put her and her business on the map. And we've had things like, I've got a list here, bulk orders. So Steve's done that with his book, with his speaking engagements. People have ordered it in bulk. He's been signing 250 copies at a time for a conference, a gig. That's a really great place to be, if not a bit on, heavy on the hand. Pre-sales of your book, Sally did that. She had 2,000 sales within the first couple of weeks of her launch, and she sold 350 directly on her website. Amazon #1 bestseller. Emma went for that and a couple of clients have done that. Attracting clients, running retreats and workshops all around the world, and gaining exposure in sort of TV, magazines, newspapers. All of that is, you know, great things that can come off the back of the book. High profile endorsements, recommendations, guest blog opportunities, podcasts and things like that. So it's really about starting with the end in mind. And I think my biggest message today is if you want to use your book as a business building tool, you have to become an authority. You have to raise your profile, you have to step out there, you have to stand out and do something that little bit different. You might have to be a bit disruptive. You know, not everyone's going to like what you have to say, but it really is about stepping into your power, stepping into your authority to get the best results for you and your business. And ultimately then you're going to have a tool, have a book that really enables you to, you know, create a bigger difference in the world and impact more people. Just one last thing, I also talked yesterday when I put together my presentation about the unexpected benefits of writing a book, and this is what I love. And I think all of my case studies, Emma, Sally, Steve, they all had this at some level. You know, that confidence in your message, that clarity in what you're offering, and then the ability to put everything you know into one little neat package that enables you to make that bigger difference and to actually bring it all together. I think that's just an amazing thing to do, so you feel absolutely clear on what you're doing and how you're doing it. So that's it from me today. I hope you found that useful. The full presentation will be available, I think it's the second week in July it goes live. It's in conjunction with the London Book Fair, so do take a watch when it comes out, and I hope you found it useful. Comment below, and if you'd like to chat about your business building book, how you can become an authority, please do pop a comment, message me, send me an email. I'd love to help you. We've got Make It Happen Day on Friday, we've got our authority mentoring program that starts in April, or just chat about how I can help you any time with your book. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.